Manchester United absolutely ripped apart by Manchester City in the derby. A double hat-trick, Phil Foden, and of course, the absolutely sensational best striker in the Premier League, Erling Haaland, took Manchester United apart. It was an embarrassing day again for the Old Trafford faithful. Erik ten Hag getting tactics wrong. I think he really got the starting lineup wrong as well. Some poor substitutions, I felt also. A lack of intensity from this Manchester United team. But let's not take away from the brilliance that is Manchester City. They were absolutely scintillating today. There's lots to delve into. I am going to be going in hard on this Manchester United team. Absolutely no doubt about it whatsoever, because the overall performance wasn't there. And this Man City team, and I mean this, they were gettable. We played crap and still scored 3 goals against them. To defend, to press, and to sit back the way we did is unforgivable. Smash the like and the share button, people. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. If we hit 1,000 likes, we're going to give away some more memberships for you today as well. Let's do this.
Absolutely magnificent.
Awful. Absolutely awful from Manchester United today. I don't know whether I'm angry about conceding 6 or scoring 3. Scoring 3 the way we did after starting so poorly has triggered me beyond belief. Casemiro not starting. I think Ten Hag's pushed it one game too far. Should have brought him into the lineup. The way we defended from midfield was poor. Delo giving away a foul and getting a booking so early on in that game was poor. The lack of composure, the lack of bottle, the lack of guts when we tried to attack was poor. And I'm not trying to take anything away from City. They will punish you and they will kill you when they can. But they didn't do this to Newcastle. They didn't do this to Crystal Palace. To have it done to us in a Manchester derby is reprehensible from our point of view. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And I'm so frustrated at the way we performed. And as I said many times after our recent run of results, that these results were going to happen again. Man United are not gone past this bad period. We are at the beginning of a rebuild, and it's going to take time. Patience with the manager is needed, but pressure on these players needs to ensue, because the lack of bottle, the lack of composure, the cowardice from some of these Man United players today is absolutely unacceptable. And irrespective of how good City are, has to be pushed back upon. Has to be pushed back upon. And they were all at it today, especially in that first half. Rashford, Bruno, Eriksen, McTominay. Piss, 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 poor. I'm joined by Jess. Overall, like, what were your overarching thoughts?
At least Man United won the second half. You know, I think at least you won the second half. No, I'm just kidding. But I think, you know, I actually predicted Man United to win this game. I thought they'd be a lot better than what they put out there. I thought they looked scared in the first half. I thought that, you know, Man City, I do think, have some frailties this season that we've seen with other teams. They were able to exploit them at the back. But you can only exploit them if you have confidence, your game plan is together, and your players are not afraid to do the basics. And I think that Manchester United, and in particular, their midfield really struggled to just do the basics, and they got swallowed up by the occasion. I thought Man City just sensed that fear in those players, and they just took advantage. And so, yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity, I think, for Manchester United in terms of just trying to, like, you know, solidify that foundation a little bit more and build that confidence. But, you know, you can't really take anything away from Manchester City. Foden, Grealish, Haaland were just absolutely on smoke today. I thought Foden, this was one of his best performances in a long time. There's been some questions on where he's been. He announced himself today. He's still there. He's an excellent player. And yeah, Manchester City just did what they do. They just kind of squash you into nothing and then cruise. And in that cruise moment, Manchester United did score some goals, but it was just a little bit too late. And so, yeah, it was a entertaining game, and I enjoyed it.
No, I bet you did. And look, I think from my point of view, where I disagree, I think City are gettable this year. Most people, even neutrals, said that in the build-up to the game, and there was nothing that happened in the 90 minutes that has changed my mind about that. Yes, we scored 3 goals in the second half, and people will say City took their foot off the gas. They allowed Manchester United to. We had 3 or 4 openings in the first half where if Sancho goes on the inside instead of the outside and doesn't panic, it's 3 versus 2. There was loads of moments when we had openings and opportunities and we panicked, we bottled it, we played the wrong passes. When you do that against Man City, and I said it in the build-up, we could have won today if we got through the opening 20 minutes without conceding and we stuck in. Big Steve even said that. Big Steve predicted City would batter us. But he said if you get through the opening onslaught, anything can happen because we're gettable. So even Man City fans have agreed with me in terms of my premise and my thoughts. And where I feel let down by the Man United players today is they didn't show guts. They didn't show determination. They had no passion for the game. They were cowards today. Everybody hid from responsibility, either defensively from a midfield point of view or in the attack. Hot potato with the ball. I'm going to give it to somebody else or send it long into a space and hope that Rashford runs onto it or hope that Sancho can do a bit of brilliant skill out on the left and create an opportunity. Nobody wanted to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And we've done that in the previous 4 Premier League games. That was what embarrassed me the most today. It was almost, again, reverting to type. Going back to how we played many times under Ollie, back to how we played many times under Ralph Rangnick with no confidence, no passion, and just no bottle. No bottle to go, we're Man United and we're going to try and beat you today. Yes, we're going to play pragmatically. There was no way we were going to go to the Etihad and outplay them footballing wise, but it was so poor today. And I'm not taking anything away from City because I praise them on a regular basis. Everyone knows I think Haaland's the best striker in the league right now. Phil Foden is sensational. How people ever question his inclusion in an England squad is crazy. We've got double hat tricks against Man United today. That is sensational. But at the same time, I'm looking at my own team and there's so many things that we could have done better. What we didn't do, and I use a fighting term for this, we didn't lay a punch on them early enough to make them respect us. And that's what we needed to do, to let them know we are here. Don't think you're just going to run away with this. Instead, we were this tippy-tappy jab. We were, and we demonstrated that we've got a glass jaw, and they smashed us to pieces in the end. And a lot of it was down to the difference in mentality between the 2 football clubs. On top of that, when their mentality's better and they've got superior quality, you're fucked. To quote the late, great Heavy D, we're fucked. And that's what happened. We're fucked because they had both things. We already knew they had better quality than us. So we had to match them, if not surpass them, on our courage, on our work rate, on our ability to grab the ball by the horns. And we failed to do that today in such a desperate way. And the 6-3 scoreline actually makes me angrier. And the 6-3 scoreline makes me angrier because once we relaxed, once we were out of the game, we moved the ball around better. As soon as the pressure was gone, we played a bit of better football. And that's where Ten Hag's work's really cut out with this group and with the Glazers, because he's got to make sure he picks the right ones to leave and the right ones to come in. And they've got to keep investing. Because we might go on 3 or 4, 5-game winning streaks. We will get some good results against great teams like yourself, but we are never going to be back to the pinnacle. We're never going to get to where City are. We're never going to get back to title races until so many fundamentals at the club are fixed. So Man United fans have got to temper themselves from thinking that we're back and we're at the peak of our powers, because we're nowhere near it yet. We're absolutely nowhere near it. And we should feel very, very embarrassed today. I'm going to go to Super Chats and get more opinions. I want to say before we do, we've got Neeks waiting backstage to come on and have his say. I know a lot of you are calling him out, but I want to just say that the Give Me Sport and Football Terrace range is now available, including this beautiful Paul Scholes shirt where Man United used to be good. You can scan that QR code down there or click on the link in the description below. There's Man United merchandise available, as you can see. There's Football Terrace merchandise available. And not to leave you out, City merch, including a brand new Haaland t-shirt as well. 14 goals in 10 games. That needs to be updated now. It's up to 17 and 11, which is absolutely phenomenal. We'll speak about him later. Go and check that out. But before that, we're going to speak to Neeks. Neeks is here to maybe answer. I know you're calling out for him to answer to his crimes, but he's here. What are you saying, Neeks?
First and foremost, I have to caveat by saying I didn't actually watch the game, but I knew the comments were going to be calling me out, so I have to be here. So yeah, I didn't watch any of the game. I saw Foden's goal, but that's literally it. So I can't even give an analysis on what's happened. But yeah, we lost the game 6-3, and the 6-3 scoreline. So there's a lot of noise in the background. The 6-3 scoreline flatters us from everything that I've read, everything that I've seen and heard. So I'm not analyzing it based on it was 6-3 or, we scored a few goals, whatever. But to concede 6 in any derby, any game is bad enough. But in a derby where your players should be, they say you shouldn't have to get your players up for a derby. They should be extra motivated. 4-0 down at halftime like we were against Brentford. That alone is embarrassing. I don't need to watch the game to know that's embarrassing. And these players have to take a hard look at themselves. Now, the reality is this season was always, and I think I said this from probably the beginning of the season, we're going to have more results like the Brentford game, where it's going to be maybe a battery, maybe it's going to be high scoring, end-to-end, whatever it is, because we're just not able to play the football that Ten Hag wants. But in a derby, to concede 6 goals, for me, there's no excuse for that. I don't care how good Man City are, there's no excuse for that. The fact that we scored 3 goals, as I think you kind of said it in your opening, it speaks to the same frailties I spoke about with Big Steve on the 12-man show, that this Man City defense is not impregnable. Newcastle showed it, Crystal Palace showed it. If you can be defensively solid, I don't just mean the back four, but obviously the midfield as well. And from the front, from what, when Dallow's booked in the first half and I'm reading that Anthony's kind of leaving him exposed throughout the whole game, that is not what you need in the game like that. Everybody needs to be working and shifting and moving across the pitch to keep Man City at bay, because you're going to get opportunities on the counter because their defense is not solid. So the fact that we were out the game before we even had the opportunity as a whole to really take advantage of the defensive frailties is very, very disappointing. Haaland shut me up completely. Like, listen, Varane and Martinez, I'm not going to backtrack on the quality of these two players and their partnership. It's been brilliant. I'm not going to backtrack on that. But as I even said, I think it was yesterday, whether Martinez is 5'9" or 6'9", Haaland can score against anyone. He put 3 today. Foden, a sensational player. I'm not even surprised by what he's doing. There can be no doubts about Foden's quality. But yeah, Man City, man, I think I'm not going to get in the league now because it's disrespectful to Arsenal, who are top of the league. It's disrespectful. Is it disrespectful to Liverpool? Maybe, I don't know, based on the history. But this is why I think pretty much everyone, maybe barring one, has predicted Man City to win the league, because this is what they can do to any team. And yeah, we've got to go back to the drawing board. It's a slap in the face. If anyone thought we were back, we were ready to challenge on Ten Hag, this is a slap in the face, and we have to make sure we pick ourselves up from here.
We absolutely do. Neeks, I appreciate you coming on, mate. I know it's difficult after a defeat to sort of do that, etc.
Fortunately, there's just not a lot of City fans in the world, so I can actually get on with my week.
I will say it as well. I have shared the link with every City fan that ever comes on the terrace. DAPS and Patrick and V and everybody. So if they want to come on, they're welcome to. We've shared it in the comment section. Well, we ain't hiding, but there we go. Listen, Neeks, I appreciate it, bro. We'll chat again soon, my friend.
All right, then.
Top man. Thank you. Yeah, listen, I get where Neeks is coming from. For me, like I said before, I don't want to. I know what City fans will say when I moan at Man United being poor is they'll say you're taking away from us, and I'm not trying to do that. But I'm only looking at it from a Man United fan's point of view. We were so poor on the ball, and I don't think like City were at their scintillating best in the press. We weren't losing the ball because we were being hounded down. We had the ball in fairly simplistic situations, and we just hoof it long into nobody. It's almost a case of, why are we doing that? And I do feel that that's fundamental with it's taking time for us to settle under Ten Hag. Yeah. I'm going to go to these comments here. Haaland is absolutely insane. 3 goals and 2 assists. Now, I want to say about Haaland really, really quickly on here, because when it comes to Haaland, when people were comparing him to Lukaku, he doesn't do anything but score. It was, for me, a case of just wait and see. He will add assists. He will improve on his hold-up play as he develops and gets older as a footballer. Haaland is the best striker in the English Premier League, bar none. 3 games in his first season in the Prem at home, he's got hat-tricks in. It's ridiculous the rate of which he is scoring goals. Mm-hmm. That pass to set up Foden's the 4th. If Harry Kane plays that pass, we're talking about what a wonderful footballer he is, and he is a wonderful footballer. Well, they start to do the same thing with Haaland. For people to think that he's going to train it every day under Pep and not become a better technician, a better technical footballer, is ridiculous. Haaland is, without doubt, I mean this genuinely, as a finisher, he's the best to ever come to England, to arrive in terms of what he's got in the beginning. to get near the Henrys and the Kanes and the Agueros and the Ian Wrights and the Roods and the Van Persies and the Rooneys, he's got to add trophies. He's got to do it over multiple seasons. But the foundation and base that Haaland has given us in this short period of time, it is unprecedented. Nobody has done this. He's on 14 goals in 8 games. He is only 19 away, less than under a quarter of the way through the season. He's 19 goals away from smashing Mo Salah's one season record. He has 17 goals in 11 games in all competitions. This has never been done before. Never, ever been done before, what he's doing right now. And I think anyone who doubted Haaland, have just got to put their hands up and say, I'm sorry, Haaland. I was wrong. He's a phenom. He's a phenom.
Yeah, he's fun to watch because he does so many different things. Like he has blistering pace. He's really strong. People were talking about he couldn't head the ball. He definitely can. Every single time that he jumped up in the air and looked like, it was like it was a bullet, bullet headers. The guy is just insane. And he's only 22. So, if you just think about that, it could be long for us. It could be very long for us. But, if you can just take off your rival hat or whatever and just think about what we are witnessing, we're witnessing somebody that's going to change the story of the Premier League. Like, this is somebody that's going to break lots and lots of records. And yeah, so just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I think you've got to swallow your pride and just admit how good he is. Now, what you'll get from the stands of the other elite level strikers who he's going to challenge is, yeah, but he might get injuries. Yeah, but he's got to prove it over a long period of time. But we're not talking about whether he surpassed them now. We're talking about, can he? And the answer is yes, he can surpass every striker that has ever kicked the ball in the Premier League. He set the foundation. He just needs to continue it now. League wrapped up. Just bring on the World Cup. And I do think that's too premature to say a league is wrapped up right now because sport shows us life isn't that simple. Terry thinks we are gettable. Man City was certainly gettable today. You are gettable, as in you can create chances against you. Teams have done it this year. It's why you've drawn 2 of your opening games. Palace did very, very well against you as an example. No one said you're crap. No one said you're rubbish. But to act like City are flawless, Big Steve agrees with me. Many City fans do as well. But thank you for the comment. Yeah. Jess, I hate your team, but I would stop hating them just for you. Also, United in the mud is what NGA's got to say. At 30 minutes, it was still 1-0. Ten Hag should have made the changes or started with Martial and Casemiro. Our last Premier League game was the 2nd of September. We are cold.
Well, the one thing I will say about this is that I do think Ten Hag has played this well. I think man management is really important when you first come in, because I know that, a lot of people don't like McTominay.
Yes.
I always say it wrong. But Scott, a lot of people don't like him, but he's been playing really well over the last couple of games. So you kind of have to let him almost kill himself, in a game. And I think he definitely did that today. This should be the last time that Scott starts. Like, it really, really should. And Casemiro should come in. I question whether or not Casemiro is actually fit. Like, something doesn't seem right about that as well. Like, I'm not really... He probably needs some more time, but he needs time to get with the team, I think.
With 9 to 10 games this month, he was always going to play and use this time to get fit. I think the super chat's right. First Prem game in a month for Man United is an issue. I'm going, but I thought it was 3 weeks, not a month, but there we go. A lot of United fans, when our last 2 games got cancelled because of the Queen's passing, I was frustrated because of this reason. You were going to go into this game not cold, but a little bit flat-footed away at the Etihad, a team with Haaland in, KDB purring this season, Phil Foden, etc. It's difficult. But I do agree that Ten Hag did make mistakes today. I get why McTominay started. I can't preach for a team being selected on meritocracy and then moan when players playing well were picked. That is hypocritical. But I think where he made the mistakes is I think he should have done what we've seen a number of managers do in the Premier League in history, over the history of it, is should have pulled Scott McTominay or Eriksen after 25, 30 minutes because it wasn't working. That's when the change should have happened as an example. He should have made a bit of a statement change. Of course, we had the injury to Varane. We conceded from his area of the zonal marking when he was off the pitch after being treated. And then the second goal, listen, it was an amazing pass. Maybe he doesn't get there anyway, but he's a lame duck. He can't run properly. Should have made that substitution a little bit sooner. We still probably would have conceded. There are a number of things he got wrong for me in that game. Equally, when we went 2-0 down, the instruction should have been, let's shut up shop. Let's be resolute and compact and not concede again between now and the end of the half. But we were so gun-ho. And at 3-0 down, we had about 8 men forward, got caught on the counter. Once that fourth goal goes in, there's no way back. If you go in at half-time, 1-0 down, 2-0 down, there's always a chance of a screamer, a goal against a run of play, and it changes the direction of a game. So Ten Hag will have to take some responsibility for today. There's no doubt about it. And I'm sure he will. And I'm sure he'll learn from those mistakes. And to not criticize him at all, I think is wrong. But he also needs to look at some of these players. And this is where he'll earn his stripes as manager. He'll have to assess who let us down today by not showing up in terms of giving it their all, who hid, who shrunk on the occasion. Because we've said it many times before, you can be an amazing player when there's no pressure. How do you perform when the heat is on? That's the difference between teams that win Premier Leagues and win Champions Leagues and teams that don't. Well, simple as that.
Well, it's interesting, you're saying that, because one player that really stood out to me that I don't think really stepped up to the plate and is going unnoticed, because obviously Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes had terrible first halves, is Sancho. He didn't step up. I thought he was really, really poor. Where Antony, you could give him kind of a pass because he's new and he's not really used to being in this setup. But I did think that in certain moments, especially in the second half, Antony tried to do something. Yeah. I thought, and even Rashford, he was out there on the island by himself. He made some mistakes, but the one player that I looked at, I just thought did not really do much. And when he did have opportunities, he just kind of let it go past him, was Sancho.
I agree with you with Sancho. The problem with Sancho is this. Technically, as a footballer, he's a very good technician. He has no explosive power. And when you're playing counter-attack football against a team as good as Manchester City, as powerful as Man City, we were talking about this the other day. They have the technical ability and the P&P. They've got power and pace across their team, and they've got technical ability. So when you try and play on the counter against them, you need explosive players. Today was a game with Rashford being fit. Maybe you look at it and go, actually, maybe Elanga should have been on that left-hand side, who, if we're just going to knock the ball into the channel and ask somebody to sprint onto it, Elanga's better suited than Jadon Sancho. That's not his game. He needs to be playing more intricate football, and we are not there yet in certain games. Sancho will be fine when we play the smaller sides, the teams that are not as good as City. And by the way, that's everybody. But against City today, with the tactics we went in with on the counter, he just doesn't have what Rashford, Martial, Elanga have. He doesn't have that explosive speed over that first 5 to 10 yards. And when he got the ball, he's isolated with no one to pass to, and he's poor at that. It's not his game. So I get the criticism, but that for me is also a mistake from the manager for putting him in that situation. And on Antony, sorry to interject, great goal. But Antony's already starting to frustrate me. Dribble at you, man. There was a moment. It was 6-3. We lost the game. The ball gets played out to him on the right-hand side. He's up against Ake. It doesn't matter if you lose it. Attack him, run into... He doesn't. He then stands a player up, goes on the outside and has a weak shot. Mm-hmm. It's almost... One thing that's annoyed me, both Sancho and Antony do this. And Antony's only been here a few weeks. I'm going to give him time. But run at your opponents. Try and scare them. They're always trying to stand up. It's weird to me. It frustrates the living daylights at me. Run at them.
And this is where I thought Pep did a really good job, and where he tactically got it right, where Ten Hag did not, is I think he anticipated Sancho and Antony playing, and it was pretty obvious that they were going to play. And initially, and we kind of spoke about this, it was why is Diaz and Laporte not playing? Played Ake and Akanji, two physical, strong, quick players, and that just completely nullified what Manchester United wanted to do on the break. And I do think just in general, they just bodied, like Akanji actually, for somebody who played at Dortmund and they're really bad defensively, he's come into Manchester City and looked really, really good.
He's gone into a brilliant system with quality around him, but it was also a masterstroke from Pep today, because he put Ake and Akanji at the back for one reason: to nullify the pace of Rashford through the middle.
Yeah, and he also had Walker too, so it was done.
It was done. If he'd have played Ruben Diaz, there's a pace issue that you can maybe exploit. Very, very clever from him indeed. And clearly Pep didn't buy into the Man United scare tactics of Martial's going to miss out. Maybe we should have just told everybody he was still injured and maybe he picked somebody else. But
Yeah.
we've got lots of calls we've got to get to soon. By the way, people, smash the like and share button for us. We want your thoughts and your feelings. Chike here says, Jess, what were you thinking going 2-1 to United? You nearly made me convinced. Also, when you play City, game plans have got to change big time. Josh here says, Fossil football school again this weekend. Although there was no red card in this game, it looked like United had 10 men. Haaland is a robot. Yeah, look, Man United actually made the same mistakes in the first half as we saw in the Tottenham game. You're bang on. When Tottenham had the opportunity to create chances against Arsenal, their final ball was so consistently poor. And there was a lot of similarities in between the games. I watched Match of the Day back last night. There was, before Arsenal scored, there was 2 or 3 times simple passes that Kane could have been played through with. Who knows if he scores, but he could have been played through, take the lead, it might change the game. Man United did the same thing today, and then on the day, the superior team took advantage and destroyed them. Don't let the late goals fool you. Subbing off 5 people at the same time messed up the chemistry. Haaland is clear of Kane. Don't care. Kane passes better. He's not the threat. Haaland is. Hello, farmers. Haaland's got something Kane hasn't got anymore, and that's because Kane's had too many injuries. Harry Kane never had it to Haaland's degree. Haaland's explosive power over the first 3 or 4 yards is, excuse me, I'm sorry to swear, is fucking ridiculous. This man is a robot. It's unbelievable how good he is. The Jack Grealish agenda is mad. Everyone talking about Haaland and Foden. Jack Grealish is amazing. Grealish was brilliant today.
Well,
he really
took
was
your
good.
Criticism.
Yeah, he listened to me. He listened to Terry. He listened to Terry Flewers, and he was great. What also helped him was Delo getting himself booked. And by the way, rightfully booked. This is where I don't hypocrisize myself. So remember this moment, Football Terrace fans. I moan that players don't get booked in the opening minutes for cynical fouls. Delo deserved to be booked. It's a cynical foul. I think it's ridiculous that players don't get booked when they commit those fouls early. And we saw why today, because Delo couldn't commit himself for the rest of the game. So when next time your team plays, it could be Chelsea-Milan this week, and Milan player commits a cynical foul in the opening minute. If they let that defender get away with it, Milan have an advantage because they can do that at least one more time with that player. I see a Chelsea fan backstage going, what are you talking about? It's true. It's the next big game that comes to my mind. You've got to book players for those cynical fouls early. Jack Grealish got Delo booked, and it helped his game because he knew Delo couldn't tackle him, and it gave him this freedom. He was great today. City are sharks. You cannot let them smell blood. Agree, David. You're spot on. Training match for City. United looked scared in the first 30 minutes. Dumb decision-making. Midfield not tracking back. Terry, we need some Sancho conversations. I've already had the Sancho conversation, but you're spot on with everything you've said there, Joshua Jack. You're spot on, my friend. 5-6-3 is flattering United, shows the level of dominance. I think it does. City fans will give excuses and say we made subs, rare tear. I still think City are gettable, as in you can create chances. But scoring 3 at the end when you're already out the game, it matters not for me. It matters not. But well done to Martial for a brace today. Where's the butcher? Never, ever disrespect Haaland. I don't know. You're not talking to me when it comes to disrespecting Haaland. I'm getting shit online because I've posted about my countdown to Haaland breaking the record. He's not even at his peak yet. Talking about Haaland, I believe. Yeah, he's not. Like, you actually look at how many goals. The only striker I've found at his age in Europe in the last 40 years with this many goals at this age is R9. Messi behind him. Ronaldo behind him. Henry behind him. Zlatan behind him. Rude behind him. They're all behind him. It's ridiculous. How are we falling? City are winning the Prem, period, is what Hugo's got to say. Pep preparing the beast to replace Benzema in Madrid. That's the only thing City fans have probably got to worry about, is that maybe in 3 years he's gone. But then they'll cross that bridge when they get there. As a United fan, I'm fuming the team bottled it. The difference, one team working together, one team not. No excuses. Back to the training ground. I agree with that, 100%. United didn't help themselves, no effort. Again, I agree with you. A lot of people, rivals won't like hearing that, but they're missing the opportunity to criticize something worse than bad technical ability. Lack of heart is a problem.
Well, I mean, you have to look at the way that United turned up against Liverpool. Turned up against Liverpool, beat them, energy, That's your rivals as well. Totally different team. You know, I didn't see that same energy like Lisandro Martinez right at the beginning of the game pushes Salah into the ground. I didn't see any of that energy or anything today.
I couldn't agree more. United is back. I don't want to hear the butcher and the Rolls Royce Varane again. United is back. Life is back to normal. Bruno and the 360 merchant are shite. Maguire laughing at home with his fake injury, seeing Varane go off. Goat is going to get game time now.
Oh,
don't even remind me. Don't even remind me. I'm sure proper weird, creepy, non-stop on Twitter don't like you, Terry. Will blame Ronaldo. Go on the foghorn and blame him. Do it. His fault today. But Terry, well, again, if you can find me a clip where I've said all of Man United's problems are Ronaldo's fault, and I'm going to say this out loud now, you can go back through all my archives. Find me where I've said it's all Ronaldo's fault, and I sincerely will transfer £100,000 cash into your bank account. £100,000 cash into your bank account if you can find me a piece of footage where I say all of Ronaldo is the creator of all Man United's problems. I bet you can't find it. I bet you if you can't even find me saying he's one of the biggest problems that we've had in the last 10 years. I bet you won't even find that. I'll give you 10 grand for that one. There we go. Super sticker here from Unbiased TV. Thank you, my friend. I mean, I call the Glazers out on Twitter and everyone's like, oh, you're blaming the Glazers for this result. How was it on the Glazers? I'm like, I didn't blame the Glazers for today's result. I'm talking about where Man City are to where Man United are is on the Glazers. And by the way, it's probably more like this. And people always want to deflect and go, they just want to hear you slagging off your players. But we're never catching City until we run better. We've spent the same amount. There was a graphic Sky Sports put up at the start of the game. And anyone who doesn't see this as a United fan is a mad person to me. They've won so many more major trophies. They've won 33 games by a 5-goal margin or more since Fergie retired. Do you know how many we've won in the Prem? By that same goal margin. 1 in 10 years. All the metrics are on their side, barring one. We've spent almost the same amount of money on players. It's all about how we're run. Now, that doesn't mean Ten Hag can't turn this around. But the fact that we've invested as much money as City in a decade and we are so far behind them, it's palpable, is on the Glazers. Of course, it isn't the Glazers' fault how we played specifically today. But today isn't a drop in the ocean. Today isn't the needle in the haystack. Today has happened on so many occasions in the past decade. It is unbelievable. I've forgotten how many bad games we've had. I've forgotten how many bad games we've had because there's been so many now. This is part of the course. So again, Man United fans, doesn't matter if we win our next 5, Glazers out. Lose our next 5, Glazers out. Win a trophy this season, Glazers out. Nice new shirt, don't buy it, Glazers out. Sign players we want, Glazers out. Pay off some of the debt, Glazers out. Increase the debt, Glazers out. Whatever we do, celebrate with the team, celebrate with the players, celebrate with the manager, but always Glazers out. We are in this position because of how they've run the club. Rivals telling you it's not that are trying to make you not focus on the real problems. And Man United fans that say it's not really the Glazers, they are just protecting themselves because they are Glazer supporters. Remember, everyone in the Man United shirt, everybody that goes to games is a Glazer. Everyone that supports the club financially is a Glazer. They support the process. They support what those people do. Don't let them fool you. We're going to go to some calls now, people. Loads of people backstage coming on, ready to have their say. First up is going to be, I was going to put Igal on, but Igal has disappeared. So we're going to go to a Man City fan. DAPS is here with us now to have his say. What are you saying, bro?
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Yeah, we needed this, innit? We needed this. The Premier League needed this as well. I've just been listening to you. You know what, Terry? You are right. You're not actually one of the United fans that we needed this for because you haven't been that loud. But there's been a lot of, all week I've been facing overconfidence based on your start to the season. We spoke about it on Friday a bit as well. And I think that's been overhyped a bit as well. But even if it hasn't been overhyped, people are basing their confidence on United getting a result on the start of the season and forgetting that we are the retaining already champions. And I think that's what happened today. The maddest thing is Rodri not on the pitch, Diaz not on the pitch. I think you're right. I think Akanji and Aki may be suited it anyway. Was Diaz injured? Do you know?
No, Diaz was on the bench. I think he went with that because he wanted to nullify the ball over the top to Rashford. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm going to keep saying it. Ake left back until Laporte is up to speed. Ake and his pace, he's actually quicker than Laporte as well, and he's naturally left-footed, is very important while Cancelo is playing inverted. It's so important. So, but yeah, it was just the butcher wasn't about. I'm not gonna lie, I'm relieved because when I saw the team sheet, I was a little worried. I like that you're giving Grealish his ratings as well because Grealish was good today. I feel for Grealish that he's come off the pitch with, I believe, no goals, no assists. But he was good. But everyone's still, you know what, in a week's time, no one's going to focus on his performance. They're still going to talk about the fact that Grealish doesn't have goals and assists when today he was very pivotal to our game. So, but yeah, man, it's good. I feel relieved, bro. I'm not going to lie. It's
No, mate, listen, I get that you feel, I get there's a sense of relief because, again, I was someone that predicted Man United could win. And I said that with Rashford and Martial available, if we catch you right on the counter, we could beat you. However, I also said, I mean, people don't then listen on beyond that. They take it all out of context, Andrew Tate style, where I then said, but if we concede early in this game, we lose. So
it's always the same, isn't it?
that's what happened. We didn't counter right when we had opportunities to, and then we conceded, and that for me was game over. But of course, you've got to be happy because you didn't want to finish today 4 points behind Arsenal that look very, very good. You know, you've battered a rival. There's bragging rights, and I think it just takes a little bit of pressure off. But yeah, I mean, it's great for your title race is now building up.
For me, away from the fact that it's a derby and the bragging rights, it's a bit more than this. Is like we haven't been good this season. Haaland has been sensational. But defensively, admittedly, there needs to be context on it. Because people will give the Martinez and Varane partnership context. Martinez, when he was playing with Maguire, you conceded goals against Brighton and Brentford. Diaz has been having his partner change on him constantly this season, which is maybe making people question Diaz. But it's like we're changing our defense every game, and for me, I don't like that. I never like that in any season where the defense keeps changing. The biggest thing out today that I take from it is a reminder to everyone in this Premier League what we are and who we are, because this is the part of the season where you still there?
Yeah, keep going, bro.
Oh, yeah. This is the part of the season where we aren't at our best, but it's also the part of the season where we usually get a result that kickstarts our season. So this should be it. To be honest, the only thing I'll be a bit disappointed is conceding 3 goals and. Some United fans will probably.
You don't sound very happy though. You sound like you're going to sleep, bro. Where's the energy?
Terry,
just fucking smash this. Come on, energy.
Terry, but you know this from me already. Like, I've done this too many times. Like, this is what I can't speak to Arsenal fans about calming down in September, then be excited about it. Like, if I was at the game,
Come on, you're City.
I'm relieved, bro. I'm relieved. Listen, I'm City, but I'm not City from 2011. I'm City from 1985, bro. So
I do get that. Old school, you know, I want to say this. Old school Man City fans, I don't mean this horribly. When you win, sometimes the word boring isn't right. You're so reserved. You're like an 80-year-old English lady. You know the stereotypical English reservations of the sort of like, I'm not getting excited. I'm not getting carried away. I'm not going to be scared. Celebrate. I really appreciate you. We get called
bro.
I've got a lot of calls. I really appreciate you coming on, having your say, my G.
Love.
And I'll chat to you soon. Top man, DAPS. Speak to you soon, brother. Thank you very much indeed. Make sure you're smashing like buttons for us. Make sure you're subscribing to The Terrace as well. Haaland's third goal, ball bounce was quality. Yeah, the way he hits that is amazing. How did Arsenal not beat this team baffles me. Listen, it's because Man United were better on the day. The difference between, City are better than Arsenal right now. As in overall, Arsenal had a great start to the season. I would still say City are better than Arsenal. Most Arsenal fans would agree. The difference was Man United passed the ball better, moved the ball better, attacked with the ball better. City were brilliant today, but Man United were also poor. If we played this badly against Arsenal and Arsenal were if Arsenal didn't improve any iota in that performance and we were as bad as we were today, they would have beaten us. But we were better in that game. And that's why, as much as I'm going to give respect to Man City, I'm not just going to take away from the fact that Man United were poor. Just saying it was because City were great is papering over the cracks at my own club. Any Man United fan on socials that just says, what can we do? City were just brilliant. They're lying to you. You've got to call out your own misgivings in games as well, because we were dog breath today. My grandmother would have walked past the United midfield today. How can you give them so much space? KDB, Gundogan, and Silva walked all over it. Painful. Agreed. Man United tears fill my Arsenal belly yummy is what Big Imperial has got to say. Don't pay for the streams Glazers out. I don't understand what you mean. Thank you for this comment here, Ian. Thank you. Terry, do you like Andrew Tate? Don't know him. Don't know him personally. That is my response to that comment. Don't know him to like him or hate him. Imagine wearing baby blue colors is what Ian's got to say here. It is what it is. We had a few more super chats. I don't know if they got starred. No, they've all been done. Sorry. I don't want to miss them. Igal is with us now, people, to have you say what you saying, Igal.
Terry, I was on the Big Six, not the Big Six, the Top Six show with you, and I swear you said something to me like, to say Manchester United is going to get slapped by Manchester City is going to slap Manchester United is ridiculous, or it doesn't happen that often. So I'm just here to say, Terry, you guys did get slapped, and it just shows that the Manchester derby is not as big as the North London derby, because guess what? Manchester City and the quality and the gulf in class between the two teams is so far gone that it's not even fair at times. And hey, if I'm going to bring it back to the actual game, Haaland is an absolute joke. I've already put my hands up a long time ago, but some people said he wasn't even going to get 13 goals this season. I think he's already surpassed that. 3 hat tricks. That's impressive. Not only is it 3 hat tricks, but he's already equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's hat trick in the Premier League. That's ridiculous. Just to think how good Cristiano Ronaldo has been for Manchester United in his time in the Premier League, even before he went to Real Madrid. For him to equal that already is impressive. Phil Foden getting a hat trick. You know what? He might have not done it for his country, but he's definitely doing it for his club. That is another guy that I got to give shout outs to. And I was on this show last time, and I said Akanji, we don't give them credit for signing Akanji because he slots right in. You know what? I'm going to give them credit now. I can't just go back. I can't just go by and just say, hey, these guys, their recruitment, the way that they're run, Manchester City is the best run club in this league. And as long as they're run the way that they are and they have Pep Guardiola, they're just going to keep picking up Premier Leagues. And it's very scary for all of us.
I get that, mate. And look, my point on City not slapping us, I didn't expect to concede 6 today. I don't know if you predicted 6. I certainly didn't predict 6. I thought we could score against them, which we did. And if I'd have said to you yesterday evening, United are going to score 3 goals at the Etihad tomorrow, would you have predicted at least a draw for Man United?
Yeah, because obviously I didn't think it was going to be this high scoring.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't think we were going to get slapped the way we did, and that's why I'm angry at my club, because we underperformed today to epic levels. If we performed to the same degree we did against Liverpool, if we played against them like we did against you, we may still have lost, but there's no way we concede that amount of goals. And we need to take that L. We need to take that. And that's why I'm angry. I'm more angry at the fact that we didn't do what I thought we would in this game, what we've proved we can do in the last few weeks, and we've regressed somewhat as an example. So that's my kind of stance in relation to that. On the Haaland stuff you mentioned, I mean, I got laughed at by everybody for suggesting that he would score. I mean, most people told me that Darwin Núñez, many people said Alvarez was going to outscore him this year. People are literally like, no way he's going to score goals. Bundesliga tax only really counts if man ain't doing it in the Champions League as well. Plus, you're moving into a team that creates and scores without a number 9. To think that he wasn't going to do it at City is weird to me. But honestly, it's a weird one. It's a strange one to me.
Hey, long story short, Terry, you did say you weren't going to get slapped. Obviously, you were protecting Kaz. Kaz is the one that's really going to take the L. I'll see you guys on Monday.
Oh, cheers, mate. Take care. I was ready to have a conversation, but fair enough. Cheers. I mean, I'm not really protecting Kaz. I don't remember Kaz saying it. I'm just saying from my point of view, I'm wrong in a prediction. Gal's come here to call me out for being wrong on a prediction. Cheers, bruv. I've already said I'm wrong on a prediction. Thanks. Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. I don't know what else to say to it other than that. I really, really don't. Terry mudded. Yeah, definitely. I got an opinion wrong, but I don't know what to say other than, yeah, I know I was wrong. We move on. What else should I say?
I mean, no, I'm not
Do
saying...
I delete the channel?
No, I'm not. No.
Do I quit social media?
No, nobody suggested that. Nobody
I
said
don't know what else
that.
people want me to do. I got a prediction wrong.
I mean, but obviously you're a Man United fan, and so regardless of what you said, and this is your channel, right? They're gonna go in the chat and say you're mudded no matter what. Like, you know what I mean?
That's not my question or point.
Oh, I don't know what your.
I don't know what else
question
a gal wants me to do. He's gone. I can't ask him. He's disappeared. I said I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. Like,
Do I not admit when I'm wrong?
I don't have an issue. It's between. I don't know.
I'm asking
it's
your
you and
opinion.
Gal,
I'm asking your
like-
opinion. Do I admit when I'm wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for backing me.
Said yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, it's an interesting one. Terry, at least your team, Arsenal, won at the weekend. Well, some will say that. Some will definitely say that. It's I'm glad Arsenal, at least I got that prediction right. The irony. I am rattled. I am. Do you know what it is? I'm rattled because I don't understand what people want from me. Like when I go live after every game, no matter whether I'm right or wrong. I admit when I'm wrong. The amount of videos I've done, like I'm sorry, or I got this wrong, my opinion was out there. And then people come for me like I'm one of these. There's so many other YouTubers who literally don't show up when they lose and they get nothing. I turn up, win, lose, or draw, come rain, come sleet, come shine, and I get shit for it. And no one ever has my back. It's crazy. It's crazy. Super chat here. Igal said that Haaland signing was going to be underwhelming. Yeah, I mean, but again, everybody gets predictions right and everybody gets predictions wrong. I think my issue is more, I take issue more with people that don't debunk your logic as opposed to your opinion. So, or they don't challenge why you think something, they just challenge the end result. So I think Arsenal are going to have a good season. Nonsense. Well, these are my reasons why. What do you think of them? Nah, it's just all nonsense. That's kind of frustrating. The Haaland being underwhelming, I never really understood anybody's reasoning as to why he wouldn't perform. The whole like Bundesliga tax thing, it's never been a strong enough argument in my opinion. Terry losing his cool. Yeah, a little bit, but I'm allowed to. But I'm talking to you guys now, having a little chat. It is what it is. Where's that Muggsy? I don't know where any of the Man United fans are. They all had the link for today. None of them have shown up today. Not one of them. Next on the show, Chelsea OG's with us. What you saying, mate?
Yes. How you guys doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. What you saying?
Yeah, man. As a neutral, that was, it's very hard to watch 90 minutes of football. Football's not the most exciting game for 90 minutes straight, to be honest. But this one, not 1 minute of boringness, man. That's one good thing. But again, like, I was one of the non-believers of Haaland. I thought, let's get Lukaku. Haaland, he's injury prone. I'm eating those words, bro. I'm eating those words. I wish we just waited. I wish we waited out for Haaland. People say even if Lukaku popped, you should have still waited for Haaland. And I can't use that hindsight argument, hindsight's 2020. No, everyone knew Haaland was the one. Like him and Mbappe, we all knew. And now when I think about City getting them for low price, they didn't even break no PFL, FFP rules for that. It's their title, man. I don't care what DAPS say. DAPS, you're my guy, but it's your title, fam. You've won it, man. Just
I will say I do understand like old school City fans are very reserved, and I don't mean this as a dig at DAPS. He's my guy. I like him, but when I say they're boring, sometimes they're boring to talk to on a social media front because they don't say anything. Like they're the best team in the country. They've got an amazing squad, the best manager in the world. Are you confident about winning the league? I don't know yet. It's like, fucking hell. Like,
the Conservatives, man.
I don't get it. It's like this. If I went to school sports day, you know what I mean? Usain Bolt turns up because his kid goes to the school. If Usain Bolt's like, I don't know if I'm winning the dad's race at 100 meters, I'm like, fuck off, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you've got to be confident. Have some balls. Do you know what I mean?
Terry, you're not a gambling man, are you?
When I say gambling, I gamble like very small amounts of money. Does that make sense? Like I'll put a £5 bet on. I'm not a big gambler. I never gamble big money. No,
good, because I was like, that's the only time your predictions actually matter. If your prediction's wrong, it's wrong. You said people get it wrong. But if you're putting money down, sometimes it matters. But I mean, you're offering 100K to people.
Is when I say like the Glazers are the reasons we're here. No, they're not. I offer £100,000 for someone to come.
Exactly.
Like, no one ever challenges me because they know I'm right. I only bet big money on something I'm 100% sure on. Like, because I can't lose.
I was thinking, let
me ask you a question, bro. Do you see Arsenal or anybody challenging City this year to the title? Or do you think they're going to walk away with it?
Yeah, I think they're going to walk away with it, man. As long as those injury scares don't come, even if those injury scares come, I still think they're going to walk away with it. They can have 3, 4, 5 injuries, unlike us, unlike you, unlike Arsenal, and they can still win it. Like, injuries will come 100%, but Man City will probably get, on the minor end, like 1 or 2 serious injuries. Like, honestly, I can see Arsenal easily getting another Partey. Partey, first and foremost, that just makes it easy for City. He brings a solidarity. Xhaka gets a little injury. There's their man, the only man in that squad. He's going to be gone. So I'm so sure. Like, I have a lot of Arsenal friends, man. London's full of them. But, bros, you guys are not going to win it, man. Just, if you are betting people Arsenal, put it on Arsenal to finish second. Those are good odds, and you'll come through. But right now...
I feel like not a lot of Arsenal fans actually are... I mean, obviously, it's, like, fun, but... we're not really feeling like we're in it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, City are definitely on like another level. They didn't have Stones. They didn't have Laporte. They didn't have any of these players out here. I thought Rodri being out was going to be significant. It wasn't at all. Gundogan was amazing today as well. He was solid. So yeah, like they're definitely on a different level. But at the same time, it's, there's a chasing pack. Like nobody's really up there with them. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just you and City. It's just you and City.
I hear that, bro.
The rest of us are out. Anyway, man, I'll let you. I know you got a lot of people in the
brother.
chat.
Thank you very much for coming on, having your say. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. We're going to get Mr. Iqbal on in a minute when he turns his camera back on. I keep seeing it come on and off. If your camera's on, you definitely get more of a chance of coming on the show. The comment here I wanted to go to, though, it says, so you guys are admitting that the Premier League is a farmers league. See, again, everybody's desperate for the Premier League to be called a farmers league. And I get that Premier League fans have been disrespecting other leagues for a long time. The Farmers League comment isn't about how good the best teams in those leagues are. PSG could come to England and win the Premier League. Bayern Munich could come to England and win the Premier League. Where it gets dubbed at the Farmers League is that when you drop below the 7th or 8th place teams, generally speaking, the quality starts to diminish. You get to the bottom half, the bottom 5, 6, the quality isn't there. How do we know this? This isn't jolly old Englanders being xenophobic. This isn't some 40-year-old gammon going, we're the best league in the world, bruv. This comes from the brilliant foreign internationals that join the Premier League and tell us that in Germany, in Italy, in France, in Portugal, when you go away to the bottom 2, bottom 3, bottom 4, bottom 5, bottom 6 teams, play those teams at home, it's easy pickings that they have never experienced the intensity of a 3 o'clock game at home to the 5th worst team in the league and had to run their backsides off for 95, 96, 97 minutes to scrape a win. That's where, yes, it's a little bit disrespectful to say Farmers League, but that's where the phrase comes from. It doesn't matter how good City are. The quality in the Premier League from top to bottom, barring Bournemouth this year, anyone can beat anyone in this league on a regular basis. And it's been that way for many, 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 many years. City are just superior. But the difference is you don't have teams of the quality of Palace sitting 4 places, 5 places from bottom in France, in Portugal, in my opinion, does not exist. So that's where, so no one's admitting the Premier League is a farmers league. It isn't the farmers league. It's the strongest league, most compelling league, and most entertaining league in the world. And if you don't like it, go watch one of the boring ones. Like La Liga is a great example. As good as it is, 6 years running, less Spanish people have watched it. Every year, less Spanish people watch that league. Doesn't compete with the Prem as an overall package. Best, strongest, most compelling league in the world. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, brother. Facts only here. We're going to go to Mr. Iqbal next on the show. Man City fan, what you saying, brother? You're on mute. Unmute your line, bro.
Sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah, really, really happy. Just watched the game. I mean, the first 10 minutes when we scored the goal, I was like, that's it. I mean, they were there for counter-attack. And once you score the first goal, they had to open up. And then when it comes to football against football, I mean, City are way, way superior to Manchester United. And quite happy. I mean, I hear some of our fans, my friends and stuff, and they're like, oh, we'll have to see. We've got Liverpool next coming. I'm like, no, we're walking this league. We're just going to walk through this league. I mean, people say Arsenal top, but I don't think so. When push comes to shove, I think Arsenal are just gonna. I don't think so. So yeah, very happy. And I think we'll win the league this at the end of this season. I mean, I heard the City fan prior to my call, and he was again the same like the other. Like they're like, oh yeah, well we'll have to see this and that. I mean, I was like, what the hell? And then yeah, but now it's great. Yeah, we're happy.
Yeah. Mate, listen, you should be happy. I totally get the confidence. If I was a City fan, I'd be very confident. I kind of get the whole Arsenal were good, Liverpool might come back, but at this stage of the season, to not be confident that you are gonna. The way some City fans talk, it's like they're not even sure if they're going to be in the title race. It's so I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it is years of being not. I'm not being rude. Years of being shit. Maybe it just,
I know.
Fans like Daps and Yan, I think they just remember being bad for so long. Maybe that's in the back of their minds. But even like more modern City fans, are younger, like I see them on Twitter and they're like, I hope. I mean, what do you mean you hope? It's weird to me. It's weird.
I mean, it's sorry.
Oh no, I was going to ask you because you already think that the league is already sewn up, so that's fair enough. You know, you have no competition there. What about Champions League? Is that set in stone? Because that's really the big one for you guys, right? Champions League. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm confident going into the semi-final stage. I think we'll just cruise past that quarter-final stages. But when it goes to semi-final, you just never know. Something stupid happens in the last 10 minutes, and you just go, what the hell just happened? We lost to Chelsea in the final, and that was just one mistake, counter-attack, and that's it. We were done. Same with Real Madrid. Like, we thought, we're there, and then something just happens. I think it's a funny one. If you ask me whether you want to win the Champions League or the Premier League, I'll be like Premier League, always. The reason being is that City won, how many? We lost only one game. Chelsea lost more games than us, and they won the Champions League. Same for Real Madrid. They lost more games than us. They won the Champions League. That does not happen in the Premier League. In the Premier League, you just, past couple of seasons, and not this season, but past couple of seasons, you lose 3 games and you're out of it. The standard of Liverpool and City. But if you were to ask me, is a Premier League or Champions League? Champions League is only 13 games, and half the games are just not the quality that
I hear you on that. Listen, my guy, thank you very much, Mr. Iqbal, for coming on and having your say. I appreciate it, and we'll chat to you soon. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
Top man, thank you. It's good to hear a little bit of chess. I don't know if I agree. I mean, I don't disagree. It's his opinion. He might want to win the Premier League more than the Champions League. I still stand by what I've said about City for a long time. Without a Champions League, they don't become a great.
Yeah. I think they know that too as well. It's difficult to win the Champions League for this exact reasons that he said, that, you could meet up with the wrong team at the wrong time and boom, and City have kind of perfected this, perfection in the Premier League, but they have to get over that hump of the Champions League as well. But Haaland can definitely be the difference. I think what he brings to the team is, even when they're not perfect, which they're not, he puts them over the line. He makes sure that those margins are not fine. And I did see Langan Sweet said that, it's Sterling and Jesus not missing sitters. Now, I think that's a little bit harsh, but I do think that Haaland brings that next level striker, that inevitability that maybe those two players didn't bring, even though those are top quality players. He could definitely be the difference for them.
Yeah, I mean, again, I agree. Look, with Haaland, they've got to be winning it. And the reason that I say this is people think I'm always being harsh, but I'm just setting standards.
Yeah.
There is no great team in the history of football that hasn't won a Premier League. Sorry, hasn't won a Champions League. You have to win the Champions League for that team to be considered great. And the reason that I say that isn't to dig out at any team that hasn't won it. It's because the great teams before it have done it. So nobody, in my opinion, gets to qualify for that. And the reason I say great team is this. You can't be a great team because of one season. Because being a great team is what you do over a 4, 5, 6, 7 year period. Those are the great sides. If you actually go back and look at all the teams, if you like Google the greatest teams of all time, the vast majority in those lists, when you actually look at how good they were, it's 4, 5, 6 years of a group of players being together, winning multiple leagues, Champions Leagues, domestic trophies. And I just draw the line high. And sometimes I see teams that people, they're a great side, but they won one trophy. They can't be as great as the team I don't care what league it's in. They can't be as great as another team that's won 3 of its domestic leagues, 2 Champions Leagues, lost 1 Champions League final, and 3 domestic trophies, and scored more, conceded less. Like, I feel like the bar has to be so high to be a great team. Domestically, this City team are amazing. This City team domestically in the Prem era is there or thereabouts with Man United's 99 and 08 team because of the amount of Prems in a short period of time they've won. But they have to add the Champions League into it because when it comes to what your football club, Arsenal, the reason that, and I know you're going to agree with me, are you a bigger club still than Chelsea?
Yeah.
Based on what? How many?
Fans, size, history, and all those
If you had more
things.
fans but less trophies, would you say you're bigger? Historically. Well, history is trophies, right?
History is trophies plus, we're just a bigger club. Like, I don't think that that's like really debatable.
Fine. So if you're a bigger club because of the history and the trophies and everything else, how can someone be a great club and have but win less than other great clubs? I think like there's got to be a benchmark to qualify for that. Like my benchmark for managers, you've got to have won back-to-back trophies and won a Champions League to be one of the elite of the elite of the elite of the elite. Otherwise, you start making that standard low and suddenly you have 1,000 great teams, 1,000 great managers. And it's almost like, well, no, there has to be a very high qualifying point for me to get into it. And this City team, it would be a travesty to football for them not to be in that category. They start adding Champions Leagues to this, and legitimately, they start adding Champions Leagues to this, and they are going to start competing for Fergie and Man United's crown as the best 2 Premier League teams of all time. If they add a Champions League into it, they do a 3-peat this year, which would mean 5 titles in 6 years, and a Champions League, plus those League Cups and the FA Cups, it becomes almost impossible for Man United fans to put together an argument to say that our teams were greater. All they've got to do is add 1 more trophy, and they're on the edge of doing that. They then keep with Pep for a few more years with more leagues, more Champions Leagues. They could end up surpassing every team in the history of our country. Yeah. That's how good they are. Like, and I'm putting respect here on their names by maintaining those standards. But I think they need that Champions League for anybody that cares and is asking. A City fan here actually says City are winning everything. Yeah. Terry just said Wenger isn't a big manager. I didn't say he wasn't a big manager. I didn't say he wasn't a brilliant manager. I have a standard for greats. And if you come back to the terrace in 30 years' time, if Man United haven't had a manager since Fergie that win back-to-backs in the Champions League, I won't say they're greats either. I won't change my stance on that. I'm very consistent. Ashraf, there are a few anomalies. So I don't think Ancelotti has run back-to-back league titles. But when you look at the amount of Champions Leagues he's won, you can have a debate to make a pass for that. And if you put a good enough debate forward as to why Wenger should be considered the great, I'll listen to it. But he's got to have done multiple things that other people haven't. And the Invincibles is a great argument for that, my friend. So there is a rule, but there's always exceptions to the rule. And that's what grown-ups and adults are able to do. It's called having a discussion.
Yeah.
Chike is coming on now. What are you saying, Chike?
Hey, Terry and Jess, how are you? And Jess, it's nice to meet you in person.
And nice to see you too.
Thank you. Yeah, that was an amazing performance from the team. And yeah, I mean, when I looked at, and here's the funny thing, when I looked at the team sheet, I was chatting with Kenny. He's a true Arsenal fan and legend. That ain't even a debate. When I saw the same team, it was the exact same team that beat Arsenal. And I was thinking to myself, with Akanji and Ake, with the likes of Anthony, Rashford, and Sancho, I was like, and Gundogan playing in that holding role, I was like, oh wow, they could really get at us. But then I told Kenny the first 10-15 minutes of any game is always going to be the big difference, because if we score in the first 10-15 minutes, then the game is pretty much over. And then once I saw we went 1-0 up, then 2-0 up, and then the game was essentially over. And I was really surprised that you didn't play Casemiro, because people are saying that was a panic buy and you spent all this money, and it's just I was just surprised that it was 4-0. But at the same time, with Casemiro that not playing, I really wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of hope for Man United fans with no Rodri in the team that they could exploit the middle, but there was opportunities to exploit it. They just didn't take those opportunities. And I think for me, if United fans watch the game back, relax, no nerves, and assess it fairly, and City fans do the same, you'll see the opportunities. But the poor passing, the poor decision making was then capitalized upon by yourselves, as you do, even without Rodri. In the attacking third, you don't need Rodri. That's about breaking up play. And United had the opportunities and just didn't seize it, and that's life. In life, you get opportunities. If you fail to take them, that's on you. You're a loser. And Man United are losers today in that same way, 110%.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised that they scored 3 goals at the end. I was like, why didn't they do this at the beginning? Because I predicted 2-1, and I feel like a complete idiot now because I was this was a heavy, to use my horrendous boxing analogy. I expected a heavyweight title fight, Terry and Jess. I really did, and then to see us being 5-1 up, I was like, Man United are like 20 years behind us, and that is mad because Man United, Terry and Jess, they shouldn't fear anybody. They're the benchmark for what teams should be, and for them to get battered 5-6-1 by us is mental for a club like that. So, I despise Man United, but at the same time, I really feel sorry for you. I really do.
I wouldn't feel sorry for you if you were in that position. So I do appreciate the.
I just want one more question.
Yeah.
Do you consider Lionel Messi the greatest of all time, even though he doesn't have a World Cup?
I don't consider him the greatest of all time, but not because he doesn't have a World Cup. Because I don't consider him the greatest of all time because Ronaldo exists.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
And my greatest of all time is based on personal preference only. So I think Messi is amazing. I think he's sensational, but I just prefer Ronaldo. I prefer Zidane. I prefer Ronaldinho, just a personal preference, but he's in that conversation. They're there. It's who the best in the world is. And if someone decides a metrics that's the only one we can use and Messi comes top of it, I'll accept it. But then we have to keep that metric for every conversation with every player ever. And then we remove preference and subjectivity. And if you're going to remove preference and subjectivity, football debate is over. So for me, I prefer Ronaldo personally, but that's just my take. But Messi, there's nothing bad about Messi. Messi is sensational. So yeah, that's my take, my friend. Thank you very much, Chike.
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Great to meet you, Jess.
Good to meet you too.
Thank you
Cheers,
very
mate. Top man. Some more super chats. I didn't see all of these. Condolences to the 127 people who died in the stampede in Indonesia. Yeah, I mean, absolutely horrendous that any fan goes to a football match and doesn't get to come home. The hope is the Premier League and the authorities here and all the, do whatever they can to help. And whether it be, you don't know what kind of help they're going to need, financial. I mean, talking about the clubs here and everything else, especially teams like Man United, Liverpool, Bradford, who have suffered different circumstances, but suffered in this way. It'd be nice to see them come out, not just tweet something, but, do something they can to help the club and the league, because obviously they're going to be impacted. But yeah, very, very horrible scenes over there. Ashraf, thank you very much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Chelsea over Arsenal because of the Champions League sucks. Oh, you're saying it's a bad argument because of the Champions League? It sucks. Yeah, listen, I hear the opinion. So, Terry, where do you think that leaves Forest and Aston Villa? They were one of the best teams in Europe, yet they are struggling now. Do you think they are still great? My friend, when I speak of the great teams of history, it doesn't mean they're still great now. The Man United, if the Man United 1999 team played today, as in you took Roy Keane at 50 and Beckham at 40 odd, and they played, they'd lose. You don't stay great forever, but they're great in their time. So that back-to-back Forest team that won 2 Champions Leagues back-to-back was a great team. Doesn't mean they're great now. The Hamburg's great team. Hamburg ain't great now. Ajax used to be one of the greatest, most powerful teams in Europe. They're not anymore. That's mainly financial, not how they're run. But no, I think you've completely misunderstood me. I'm talking greatness within history. Jesse Owens was a great sprinter. He wouldn't run a race now because times have moved on, but you isolated to when he was at his best and he was the best in the world. Sorry, that was confusing. United had a nothing first half, not even a proper chance. What is Terry talking about? So you're not listening because of cognitive dissonance. And I'm sorry to sound arrogant, but it's true. I didn't say we had chances. I said we had chances to create opportunities and we didn't take them. Your first goal, watch it back. Grealish gives the ball away in the middle. Sancho gets possession. If he takes it on the outside, it's 3 versus 2 in a counter-attack. That would have been a chance and opportunity. But he takes the wrong touch, tries to go on the inside. Sorry, if it had gone on the inside, we're through. Instead, he goes on the outside and gets tackled. From that point, you score. Man United had an opportunity where Bruno had the ball. He had 2 players making runs on the inside. This was about 20 minutes into the game. And instead of playing the ball down the channel to the overlapping run, he whipped a crossfield long ball that got intercepted. But if he plays the right ball on the outside, it's 2 versus 1 on an overlap with the opportunity to create a chance. That's where we went wrong in this game. When there was opportunities to counter, we gave the ball away cheaply. And most of the time, there was no real press. Rashford picked the ball up in the middle of the park. Maybe when I think we were 1-0 down, all he had to do was touch and turn and pass the ball out to JADON Sancho on the left. There was acres of room to run into. But he went for a first-time pass. It was undercooked and the ball was intercepted. So we didn't create chances. We gave the ball away at the most opportune moments. The final ball to set those attacks off was terrible today. That was our biggest mistake. A lack of bottle and a lack of composure. Eric Ten Hag blew it today. Casemiro should have started. I think you might see a bit more of Casemiro coming forward after that performance today.
Sure.
Tim B says Chelsea has more fans worldwide than Arsenal, Jess.
So can I just address this really quick? Because I want to be polite, because this stream is not really about Arsenal. This stream is about Man United and Man City. But for the Chelsea fans that are coming for my neck, Arsenal are a bigger club than you. It should be coming out soon. I did a going around and talking to fans in London for Gimme Sport. And I asked tons of people, over 100 people, who was the bigger club between Chelsea or Arsenal. Arsenal had more, and it wasn't Arsenal fans. This was fans from every tier that you could possibly think of. Not only that, I saw a graphic the other day that not just from the Premier League, because, you know, football started before just the Premier League as you know it now. From before that, we have more trophies than you guys. We just do. Like, from the existence of English football, we have more. That's the reason why Tottenham are actually included in the top 6. It's because they have, from back then, enough trophies to include them into the top 6. So I get that you guys have Champions Leagues, but don't be deluded. You're not a bigger club. Have you been better over the last 15 years? Absolutely. But you're not bigger. Football knows that. Like, you can't just take away history. You guys wouldn't know much about it because you guys are an oil club. Like, we know that, or not oil club, but you guys are new money. But there's something about history. So there you go. I wanted to say polite, but there you go. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry.
There we go. Viewers, make sure you're smashing that like and that share button. Look, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. I know there's a lot more people backstage, but I can't take any more calls today. I'm very, very sorry, Mohammed and ND and Football Power and others. I'm very, very sorry. I apologize. Make sure you hit the like and share button before you leave. Congratulations to Manchester City. Remember, the merchandise is now out and available. There's TFT stuff available for you. There's the Man City range. There's the Man United range as well. There's also the Arsenal range if you're a Gooner tuning in. I know many of you are. Click on the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very